Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another video. Considering we haven't managed to pull either of the new worldwide units yet, it's the 8th anniversary repeating itself all over again, we're gonna have to make do and make content elsewhere. So since your boy finally managed to pull LR Orange Piccolo, we are gonna use him in against the Shadow Dragon event SYN SHENRON today. Of course, he's only at 55%, I mean, I don't think that really matters. He's that good that without dupes, he should be fine. Of course, with dupes, it would be great, but we only managed to pull one. But yeah, it's a little bit rough out here, I can't lie. Not pulling the new units, not only is it kind of dead in itself, but you lose out on so much content. Like, you lose out on a showcase, one per unit. You lose out on taking them against, like, red zone stages, Shadow Dragon event. You lose out on all that and all these other units that now have a 200% lead or like a good one. Like, you miss out on so much content, so it's a little lacking right now. It's a little lacking right now, but Orange Piccolo is starting at how much defense? 325k, which is great considering for the first 3 turns, when there is another Bond of Master and Disciple category ally on the team, which is this guy right here. He is going to be getting attack and defense plus 100% and guaranteed guard for 3 turns. So even though SYN SHENRON right now is doing 330k on a basic, 924k on a super, and also having type advantage against Piccolo, we should still be tanking pretty fine. Not to mention we're also getting a little bit of support from Gamma 1. But Piccolo is pretty much, in his first 3 turns, Piccolo is pretty much untouchable. He is pretty much untouchable, even at 55%. And of course, now that he's been hit, all allies do get key plus 2. So if there's any units on any rotation with Orange Piccolo and you're struggling for key a little bit, as long as he gets hit, which is pretty much a guaranteed in difficult content because there's so many attacks everywhere, red zone or Shadow Dragon event, you're going to be able to make that key difference up, which is nice. Or any other like units that need like 18 keys, super specifically get an extra buff, or like 20 key or more, Piccolo can help you get to that. Obviously, it's not a guarantee every time, but it can help. But as I said, for the first 3 turns, Piccolo's untouchable. That 3-turn guard, the extra attack defense plus 100% on top of the 150 attack and defense he starts with. Not only that as well, he's just got 20% damage reduction, so he's got guard, the extra attack and defense, 20% damage reduction. Not to mention as well, you put him in slot 1 because he needs to be hit, where he'll get the extra attack and defense plus 30% with each attack received up to 150, which is only 5 attacks, which again, in content like this where there is that many attacks pretty much at all times, incredibly easy to do so. I don't know why I'm pondering the key situation. He's literally going to be hit, which means everyone gets key plus 2. that's the beauty of it. If you're just struggling, just let Piccolo get hit, which he's bound to do. So as I said, for the first 3 turns with all of that combined, Piccolo is untouchable. He is untouchable. Even if SYN SHENRON super attacked him right now, it's gonna hardly touch him, especially the friend who's rainbowed with the extra stats, but even my one at only 55%, he's pretty much untouchable. And because you have the 3-turn guard, because you have 20% damage reduction, because you have that 100% attack and defense in the entrance animation, you can safely build up that 150% attack and defense you get from being hit 5 times with no worry. You have a safety blanket, like a safety cushion in front of you, and Piccolo can build that up with no harm whatsoever. Like, no possibility of him getting hit, taking massive amounts of damage on a super. He can build that up with little worry, or I say little, probably no worry at all. And then because of how quickly you can build that up in an event like this, you're going to have that 150% attack and defense with all of the rest of his stats, which means, even though it's not that much more possible, but Piccolo is even more untouchable. So if he was to be supered, it's literally just going to tickle him. But the extra damage is of course going to be nice, again, especially at mine being 55%. But you can build him up safely, he won't be hurt. Like, it's not possible. He has 520k defense right now with that 20% damage reduction, with that final turn of guard. Piccolo's chilling. This is how good he is, and this is why I wanted this unit for so long. Because not only was he necessary for so many missions that were dropping, so many missions that were coming out. Watch this barely do anything. 82 damage. Do you remember how in the past couple of videos I've been like 924k on a super is so much damage to take in the very beginning of an event? Like, that's so much damage to have from the very beginning. It is. But because of how good Piccolo is for the first 3 turns defensively, it ain't scratching him. Even with the type disadvantage. But I remember there was a period of time after he dropped where there were so many missions where Piccolo was like crucial, would help so much. And I remember constantly bringing Piccolo as a friend. Even in the LR Vegeta and Trunks video against SYN SHENRON, I was bringing a Piccolo friend because of how good he is. And I had to scrounge off all the friend ones to help me get through all of these events. Now I have my own. So not only do I kind of need some content to make because we're missing the new units and we're kind of waiting for everything else to drop, but not only that as well, Piccolo has my respect. Not only is he still one of the best units in the game, hands down, but on top of that, he has helped me clear so many missions. He has helped me beat so many events just by using a friend copy that I needed to make this video like now. Because that's how good he is. I do, however, need to get my Vegeta and Trunks on this rotation and put them in slot 1 so they're always guarding. Otherwise, they're going to be in some trouble. And they need to start stacking, which they haven't really done. But yeah, Piccolo's a big reason why I completed so many missions in the game, cleared so many events, just by using a friend one. Not even having 2, not even having my own, just using a friend one. I'm putting them in slot 1. I think I did it for a Cell Max mission. No, I've done it for like 2 Cell Max missions because of him and him going into his giant form and how long you can stay there and just kind of knock away and chip away 3 damage. And then even recently, so I could farm more stones for worldwide, I literally, Special Pose was one of the most annoying missions in the entire game, the Special Pose Cell Max mission, and I didn't do it for so long because I was missing Ginyu and the Ginyu Force units. Now I have all of them. Slightest issue is I don't have dupes in Ginyu. I have dupes in the 2 sidebar units, but not dupes in Ginyu, but that's not really going to help you. You just need 6 category units that belong to Special Pose. Lucky enough, the friend, you don't need the friend to belong to it because there's only 6. So I found a strat where you could bring Orange Piccolo along as a friend and you just essentially let him carry you. As long as you get Piccolo transformed into his giant form in the final phase and you can hit some additionals and crits while in the giant form and also out of it, Piccolo will literally complete the mission for you, which he did. I literally done it recently. But we no longer have his guard, but we do have 555k defense, which, of course, we are getting a 50% attack and defense raise on 18 key, which means that defense is jumping, and so is the damage, hence the number jump, especially on the rainbow one. And I'm pretty sure he stacks on 12 key as well. But unfortunately, he doesn't have any built-in additional super attacks, which is a shame for me, because if I had a dupe, we could be seeing that defense go up a bit more. But 555k is decent, because he has type advantage right now. I mean, we're not going to be here for much longer, but he has type advantage right now. And SYN is doing, what, 420k on a basic. So even without his guard, even without any more defense, we're tanking SYN SHENRON on basics and his group attacks for niche, which is great. We love to see that. And then if he was to be supered, which he is now, which is 1.176, only does 182k. And even at 55%, 9.3.5 mil on a super. So this is where, without having dupes in Orange Piccolo, things can get a little techie here just because SYN does so much damage. But even without it, he's still performing so incredibly well. So I'm pretty sure this Piccolo would have lost his guard. This is where duping Piccolo, or at least putting skill orbs, which I'm pretty sure I did, right? I didn't. That's a shame. This is where putting skill orbs would help a little bit. It wouldn't make too much of an impact because they'll only boost his additionals by so much. But this is where dupes and skill orbs, but more so dupes, would make that much of a difference. Because I'm pretty sure he does stack on his 12 key, yeah. Because you greatly raise defense and then raise attack for 1 turn. So I'm pretty sure he stacks on the 12 key on defense wise by 50%. So if you are hitting that additional super with a dupe, of course, Piccolo's just going to get more bulky and bulky and bulky. And again, while you're in that first 3 turns with the guard and the damage reduction and building up that 150% attack and defense, he's only getting more tankier and tankier while doing some very solid damage. And again, this is all at 55%. So right now, I'm going to pop a Whis just because Vegeta and Trunks are only making their first appearance. And as you can see, their defense isn't in the best of spots. So I want to be a little bit careful. We're recouping some HP with the same type orbs, which is nice. I think this hurts, but we live. Yeah, we live. Definitely glad I popped the Whis. But this is actually good for us, because this is one thing I wasn't so sure we were going to get. But considering we barely stack Vegeta and Trunks, we're going to get it. Which is, this is such a nice ability to have on top of everything else. That's a decent damage, the almost untouchable defensiveness of this unit. Especially in an event like this. Like, this is one of the more recent difficult content on Global. And Orange Piccolo, even at 55%, is still kind of walking it. Which is crazy. Don't get me wrong, the Rainbowed one, the Rainbowed Friend, is putting in an absolute shift, don't get me wrong. But even at 55%, he's been walking, right? Of course, we get our HP down to 30% or less, which I think we're literally about to get going into the next turn. If our HP gets down to 30% or less at the start of a character's attack in turn, which will be the Friend one, and receives 7 attacks, 7 or more attacks in battle, we will fully recover HP once. Which is dope, as I said, because you're putting out decent numbers. Defensively from the start, he's untouchable. Defensively after that is very, very solid and can be amazing. Oh, maybe we're not, because we didn't get the heal. That's a shame. We didn't get the heal. Okay, so we're not actually quite at 30%, but if we are very close to it, which means we'll get the one-time heal, which is great. And then you kind of want him to get to that 30% HP threshold. So, of course, you can trigger that 30% additional damage reduction on top of the 50 you already get. This is where him losing his guard kind of isn't that bad as it would be on someone else if they didn't have this, because that would be a total of 50% damage reduction with currently what we have is 555k defense, which if he is stacking on his 12 key could be even more than that with 50% damage reduction. So even without the guards, he's still incredibly bulky, and again, especially if you can trigger that heal at 30% HP. Now, the reason why I'm not going giant form is because we do have an item active. Alright, so we have a Whis active with all his defense, 555k and damage reduction. Still took 291. Which is quite a lot. But we're going to go again. Alright, we're back in. The defense doesn't stack on a 12 key. It is literally 50% or greatly raised defense by 50% and raise attack by 30% for one turn. It's not stacking. I don't know what I thought it was stacking. Do not ask me why. We still haven't got the 30% extra damage reduction you get from taking the 7 hits and getting your HP down to 30%. So he's still not defensively at his best. But considering SYN Shenron at this point does 480k on a basic, even without the 20 we've already got, we're tanking his basics fine. So right now we're still running with 550k defense, 20% damage reduction. But if we had the full 50, that 1.344, it might take a little bit of damage, but not too much. Not to the point where we'd have to worry. But I did want to come back and I did want to pop his active skill, because his active skill is great. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll be completely honest, and I said this multiple times in the past, I'm not a big fan of giant form characters. Like, I know this is literally what their transformation is for, but I'm just kind of like, it kind of is what it is, which is you transform, you take no damage, you just chip away at the health bar. Now, the reason why Piccolo's one is a little bit different is it's basically more of that, which ends up making his giant form pretty good, because he has a built-in 30% chance of launching an additional super. He has a built-in additional and a 30% chance of it becoming a super, which is great. That means even more damage to chip. And let's not forget, while he's in the giant form, he will massively raise his attack each time he supers. So on the first 18 key, if you can get an 18 key, that's 100%, and then you get a 50% raise on the 12 key, or you can get two 12s, which is 100% in total, which is still decent. But because you can potentially stay in this form for 2-3 turns, if you're lucky, that's a lot of chip damage you do for free, because you're not getting hit. So again, while I'm not the biggest fan of a giant form transformation, because you can stay into Piccolos for multiple turns, and you have the built-in additional with the 30% chance of additional super, in an event like SYN, who can do a lot of damage, or, you know, it might be a lot more common for you know, the event to be cut close, where you might just not make it. You know, one of those. Being able to pop Piccolo's giant form, which all you need is 3 superhero category allies attacking in the turn, which him included is 2. And considering how many good units belong on superhero, it's actually really easy to do so, even if you do combine categories. And some of them kind of branch over between superhero and his other lead as well anyway. But superhero is such an easy category to get units on, because so many units, or good units, top tier units belong to it. Like, again, even though he's memed a lot, you know, Fizz Ultimate Gohan's in there, the new Vegito Blue's in there, LRVB's in there, the LR Year 7 Gods are in there, Easy A, LRVB and Gogeta Blue are in there, LR Godku's in there, the Gammas are in there. So many good units belong to this category. Easy A Gogeta Blue, the AGL one, Easy A Tech Godku, Easy A SSBK. Because there are so many good units that belong to this category, triggering his giant form is so easy. But because you basically have 2-3 turns of not being hit, and Piccolo constantly doing not the most damage, but because of that built-in additional, you can do a decent amount of damage in total for free. And we've actually got the full 3 turns as well, which is nice. Like, that chip damage that a giant form would usually do ends up accumulating to quite a bit more. And again, this is all free damage, because of course we're untouchable while we're in here. I missed the rainbow key, so which means I missed the 18 key. That's annoying. Like, don't get me wrong, a 3.4 million attack stat isn't a lot. Mine's at 55%. One who's got dupes in or rainbow obviously is going to do a bit more. And then not to mention as well, this is where dupes in orange Piccolo is nice, or skill orbs if I remember to put them on, but dupes of course because it's more consistent. If you have dupes in Piccolo while in giant form right now, not only you have the extra stats to do more damage, not only that, and of course the built-in additional with the 30% chance of an additional super, but then you could potentially do a 3rd super attack, which is even more damage. So if you're in this form for 2-3 turns, you end up doing a lot of damage, again, all for free, while also having the possibility to crit with it as well, doing even more damage on top of that, which is the 100% raise on the 18 key potentially, and then 2 50% raises. Or if you're unlucky enough to not get the 18 key, that's 3 50% raises, which is still very good. So we just had a free turn and we've knocked down 4 and a bit health bars on SYN Shenron, which is why his giant form is so good. That said, we haven't managed to get him or get us down to 30% HP. We have obviously been hit 7 times. That's just naturally going to happen. Do you know what? I'll actually give him those, because once he gets hit, he's going to get 2 key anyway. And then we'll get the HP recovery from here. I mainly just wanted to show off the giant form. But as I said, we haven't even got the 30% damage reduction. Double digits on a Mega, or sorry, SYN. I mean, we're going to get that anyway, because again, his defense is more than the 480 that SYN is naturally doing, along with having 20% damage reduction. It's the super that could probably catch Piccolo. Like, even when we died to come back here, Piccolo only took over 200k on a super, which from a Mega doing 1.344 is really good, considering, again, we are missing the 30% damage reduction that we can get from the 7 hits and then 30% HP. We're also, of course, way past him having guard for 3 turns. So tanking it just over 200k, and again, also at 55%. Tanking that for 200k is really good. The only reason why we died is because I didn't use an item and we're only on like just over 200k HP because of the previous turn. But if we actually had more HP, which considering how bulky you can make the team around Piccolo, is not uncommon for you to have more HP than that. But because I was trying to get the damage reduction to trigger and the HP recovery to trigger, we would have survived. If I just didn't have such low HP, we would have survived. Or if I used the Whis, we would have survived guaranteed. Like, that super would have done nothing to Piccolo. 200k without it, and then with it, yeah, we would have taken next to nothing. The friend one has 544k defense. SYN is almost dead right now. We're about to get a Dokkan attack on Vegeta and Trunks as well. I think we've seen what we've needed to see from LR Orange Piccolo against SYN Shenron, and he's honestly made currently. I know, of course, we've got, you know, the Rose stage of the Dismal Future Red Zone coming in, but one of the hardest, if not the hardest event on global right now anyway, before we get a Mega, which with this sync up might be sooner rather than later, you never know. But right now, one of the hardest events in the game, Orange Piccolo has walked. And again, mine's at 55%, and he still walked it. Like, he has washed it. He's made it look easy. And the best thing about this Piccolo is he has so many of the best units in the game that can go around him, which makes the team even better. But to have all that bulk while doing the damage he can do is so nice, while having like the giant form in his back pocket. Love it. Love it. And the key support as well from being hit. He has so much about him. Yeah, as I said, he's made one of the hardest events currently on Global look relatively easy, which is not difficult to do considering how hard SYN SHENRON in the Shadow Dragon event is and can be for numerous units. Oh, what dodge from Gogeta Blue. We actually can get one more appearance for him, which I'm happy with. But again, we didn't even manage to trigger 30% HP, full heal, and extra 30% damage reduction. But considering, as I said, if we would have had more HP when he died on the super, we would have survived, and he only took just over 200k. With the damage reduction, he would have took so much less. Like, SYN would have hardly have touched him. SYN would have hardly have hurt him. You do all the group attacks. You're about to die regardless. Like, it's not a thing to me, bruh. It's not a thing to me. Yeah, look, even at 55%, 9.16. 9.16. Still putting out the beefy numbers even without dupes. You love it. Just if I have dupes, there would have been more chance of a crit there or an additional coming out. But Piccolo has made this event look easy. And he's still one of the best units in the game. It was nice that they gave Piccolo some love after Superhero. It really was. It was nice to see a unit that wasn't a Saiyan. Like a major... We actually... No, we're going to die here. Or like a major villain get some love. And of course, he links really well with the movie heroes Piccolo, which is absolutely amazing. And again, some of the movie heroes all belong... Or some of the best units in the game belong to movie heroes, which help out that strength sideband of Piccolo. And of course, Ella Orange Piccolo is one of them. So it's such a strong defensive rotation, and there we go, we're done. Honestly made it look so easy, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'm gonna be grinding worldwide, man. I'm gonna be grinding worldwide, and hopefully when we manage to pull one of the new units soon. I don't want to go another celebration or another major celebration like the 8th anniversary without one of the new units. So pray for me, put something in the comments, bless my summons. Hopefully yours have been going well and you've got the 2 new units or one of them. So take care, guys. Have a good rest of your day, and peace.